There are nights when many men over 60 wake up again and again, just to go to the bathroom. They sit down waiting, but the urine stream is weak and intermittent when they return to bed. Sleep has already been broken, and a heavy worry lingers inside. Could this be cancer? That same anxiety repeats every night, eroding confidence, draining energy, and slowly wearing away vitality. In reality, most men at this age experience some degree of prostate enlargement. It is not only a medical nuisance, but also something that undermines dignity and intimacy. In married life, many suffer in silence or rely entirely on medication. Yet what few people realize is that there are safe, natural, and accessible solutions hidden in the very foods we often overlook in daily life. I am Dr. Emily Hartwell, a physician specializing in men's health. After more than 20 years working with thousands of older patients, I've seen that sometimes the simplest nutritional choices can create profound change among them. 5 familiar nuts, often dismissed as just snacks, actually contain powerful compounds that can shrink prostate tissue, reduce inflammation, improve urinary flow, and restore vitality in a natural way. This isn't just based on clinical experience. It has been supported by multiple studies. The bioactive compounds in these nuts directly influence the mechanisms behind prostate enlargement. They help relax the bladder muscles, calm inflammation, balance hormones, and improve circulation. As a result, they not only bring comfort in urination, but also contribute to a healthier sexual life, something many men quietly wish to preserve. In today's talk, I will walk you through each of these 5 nuts. You'll hear real patient stories, learn the science behind them, and understand the right amounts and practical ways to use them. You'll see that the solution is not always in prescriptions or procedures, but sometimes in a simple daily habit. This is not an instant miracle, but rather a natural collaboration between your body and nutrition, helping to restore balance safely and sustainably. If you are looking for a natural way to support prostate health after 60, stay with me until the end of this video. And if you find these insights helpful, please subscribe to Prime Health Seniors and turn on notifications so you don't miss upcoming content. I'd also love to hear from you. Share in the comments if you've ever tried using nuts for your health. So let's begin with the first nut. Often humble, yet a powerful ally for the prostate, the cashew. Among the most familiar nuts, cashews are often seen as nothing more than a snack. Yet in reality, they are one of the most powerful allies for prostate health. Affordable, easy to find, and simple to use, cashews can make a noticeable difference for men over 60 when consumed regularly. I recall Alan, a 6-7-year-old retired teacher. He came to me looking exhausted after months of waking up repeatedly at night to urinate. His urine stream was weak and broken, and he carried a constant fear that this condition might signal something serious. Alan had tried prescription medications, but the side effects, fatigue, and dizziness made him feel even worse. When we shifted his focus toward nutrition, I added cashews to his daily plan, and that became a turning point. The reason I chose cashews lies in their unique nutritional profile. First, magnesium in cashews helps relax the bladder and prostate muscles, reducing urgency and incomplete emptying. Magnesium also plays a direct role in testosterone production. After 60, declining testosterone leads to lower energy, stamina, and sexual vitality. Maintaining adequate magnesium allows the body to function more smoothly, and sustain its foundation of zinc in cashews is equally important. Studies show that older men are often deficient in zinc, and when this happens, the prostate becomes more vulnerable to inflammation and enlargement. Zinc acts like a natural fire extinguisher, soothing inflammatory responses, preventing swelling, and supporting hormonal balance. It also contributes to sperm quality and testosterone regulation factors that restore confidence in intimate life. We also cannot overlook phytosterols, especially beta-cytosterol, which are abundant in cashews. This natural compound can block the activity of DHT, the hormone most responsible for prostate enlargement. Put simply, beta testosterone works like a brake, slowing down the overgrowth of prostate cells. Through this mechanism, cashews don't just relieve symptoms, but actually address the root cause. What makes cashews truly effective is the synergy among their nutrients. Vitamin E provides antioxidant protection, shielding cells from oxidative stress that fuels inflammation. Protein and iron help maintain overall vitality, ensuring the body has enough energy to repair and rebuild. Together, these elements create a comprehensive support system, turning cashews into far more than a casual snack. Alan began eating cashews daily. After about 4 weeks, he reported deeper sleep with far fewer nighttime bathroom trips. His anxiety lifted, and he no longer lived under constant fear of illness. Most importantly, he regained the confidence that his body was healing naturally, without depending on medication. In clinical practice, I usually recommend about 28 grams of cashews per day, which equals 16 to 18 nuts. The simplest way is to eat them raw or lightly roasted without salt. They can also be added to salads, blended into smoothies, or consumed as cashew butter or cashew milk provided. The products contain no added sugar or oils. The key is to choose whole, minimally processed nuts to preserve their full nutritional value. Another advantage of cashews is their accessibility and reasonable cost. They're available in nearly every supermarket and cost only a fraction of prescription drugs. I often suggest that patients keep a jar of cashews in a visible spot, like on the kitchen counter, as a daily reminder, because it's consistency over time, not one-time effort, that brings lasting results. Of course, cashews are not the only warriors protecting the prostate. Each nut offers its own unique mechanism, and together they form a strong foundation for men's health. Right after cashews, we'll explore another nut, small but carrying a 3-in-1 toolkit for prostate support, the pistachio. I understood his skepticism, but I also knew that it's often the simplest daily habits that create the greatest difference. I explained to him that pistachios provide 3 essential nutrients that most men over 60 are missing. First, phytosterols, plant compounds that block DHT, the hormone most responsible for prostate enlargement. When DHT is kept in check, the prostate's overgrowth slows down. Second, L-arginine, an amino acid that converts into nitric oxide in the body. Nitric oxide relaxes blood vessels, allowing stronger urine flow and better erectile function. Third, antioxidants, especially gamma-tocopherol, a potent form of vitamin E that extinguish embers of inflammation before they flare into pain and swelling in the pelvic area. This is what makes pistachios stand out. They don't just target one problem, but simultaneously support hormones, regulation, and inflammation. When I explained this, Harris felt it was worth trying. We agreed on a simple plan. Each day, he would eat 28 to 30 grams of unsalted shelled pistachios, about 49 nuts. He usually had them in the afternoon as a light snack, sometimes mixed into yogurt or salad. At first, Harris had little expectation, but within a few weeks he noticed small changes. His nighttime urination dropped from 4 times to 2. Urgency became less frequent. After 2 months, the improvements were undeniable. His PSA level had lowered slightly, but what truly mattered to him was how he felt the pelvic pressure eased. His sleep became longer and deeper, and most surprising of all, his confidence in intimacy returned. His wife even remarked on his brighter mood, something he valued more than any lab result from Harris and many others. I've learned that pistachios work best when eaten consistently, a little each day. You don't need large amounts. Just a small handful is enough. The important part is choosing fresh, unsalted nuts and storing them properly so the natural oils don't go rancid. Pistachios are affordable, widely available, and easy to incorporate into daily meals. What I love about pistachios is that they don't only improve current symptoms, they also serve as prevention. By replenishing these key nutrients, you're not only reducing nighttime trips to the bathroom or improving urine flow, but also protecting your blood vessels and sustaining sexual health for years to come. That's the difference between passively treating illness and actively building health. Harris has kept up his pistachio habit ever since. Every few months he still sends me an email saying he feels good with stable energy, and most importantly, independence in his own body. For him, pistachios are not just a snack, but a tool for preserving dignity and vitality. After 70, after learning about pistachios, the bigger picture starts to become clear. There is no single miracle pill, but rather a combination of foods each working in its own way. And now let's turn to the third nut, macadamia, creamy and rich, often considered a luxury, but holding unique power to benefit not just the prostate, but also the heart and metabolism. Cashews and pistachios bring clear improvements in hormone balance and circulation. Macadamias are a unique choice. When you need a food that can calm inflammation, protect the heart, and support healthy metabolism. At first glance, macadamias are often seen as a luxury item, more expensive than other nuts, but in truth, they are like a deep nourishment therapy for the body, especially valuable for men. Nights are full of bathroom trips, days are sluggish, and my overall health is going downhill fast. It was clear that his problem wasn't just the prostate alone, it was also the metabolic imbalance surrounding it. That's why I introduced macadamias into his nutrition plan. The reason is that macadamias contain the highest amount of monounsaturated fats, MFA, of any nut. MFAs act as deep nourishment for cells, reducing inflammation throughout the body and improving the elasticity of blood vessels. For the prostate, this means less pressure, better urinary flow, and stronger erectile function thanks to improved circulation. These compounds can trigger apoptosis, the natural self-destruction of abnormal cells in the prostate. Think of tocotrienols as a special cleanup crew that finds disruptive cells and forces them to stop growing. This is a powerful built-in defense that helps prevent prostate enlargement from progressing further. But the benefits of macadamias extend beyond the prostate. Research has shown they help improve cholesterol, stabilize blood sugar, and provide antioxidants that reduce oxidative stress, a key factor in aging. This is especially helpful for men who face a cluster of issues alongside prostate problems, such as high cholesterol, high blood pressure, or insulin resistance. In other words, macadamias don't just ease one symptom, they help restore balance across the entire system. After about 6 weeks on his new plan, Daniels returned with a lighter expression. He said the number of times he woke up at night had dropped significantly, and the heavy pressure in his pelvic area had eased. He was finally sleeping through the night and waking up refreshed. His blood tests showed a modest drop in cholesterol, which motivated him further. What mattered most to Daniels was not the numbers, it was the feeling of regaining control over his life. For my patients, I usually recommend around 28 grams of macadamias per day, about 10 to 12 nuts. The best way is to eat them raw or dry, roasted, without added salt or oil for variety. Macadamia butter or macadamia oil can also be good options as long as they're minimally processed. One important note, the healthy fats in macadamias are delicate, so they should be stored in airtight containers in a cool place or the refrigerator to maintain quality. Macadamias are clear proof that sometimes a small food can provide wide-reaching benefits. They not only calm prostate enlargement, but also strengthen cardiovascular health and improve recovery. For men over 60, that is a safeguard for vitality and independence. Right after macadamias, we'll move to the fourth nut, hazelnuts, often tied to sweet holiday treats. I remember Stephen, a 2-year-old former literature teacher. He came to me moving slowly, his face weary. He explained that he was waking up 3 to 4 times each night to urinate, constantly feeling bladder pressure. On top of that, he struggled with shortness of breath on stairs, fading memory and trouble focusing, while reading something that saddened him deeply. "I'm afraid I won't be able to enjoy the books I love anymore," he admitted. His symptoms pointed not only to prostate enlargement, but also to declining cognitive function. When planning for Stephen, I included hazelnuts in his daily diet. The reason was simple. Hazelnuts are one of the richest sources of beta-sitosterol, a plant compound proven to reduce benign prostate enlargement. Beta-testosterone acts like a soft shield, preventing the gland from expanding too aggressively, easing the feeling of incomplete emptying, and improving urine flow. This makes hazelnuts a natural, gentle, yet effective solution, ideal for older men who are often sensitive to medications. Beyond beta-sterol, hazelnuts are loaded with vitamin E. This powerful antioxidant protects prostate cells from oxidative stress, a major driver of enlargement and complications. Vitamin E also supports blood flow and helps keep the nervous system sharp. For Stephen, that meant not only a healthier prostate, but also clearer memory and stronger mental focus. Modern research has also shown that hazelnuts reduce systemic inflammation thanks to their high levels of polyphenols and healthy unsaturated fats. With inflammation under control, the prostate stays calmer, the heart works more steadily, and the brain performs more efficiently. That's why I often call hazelnuts a 3-in-1 friend, protecting the prostate, nurturing the heart, and supporting memory. After nearly 2 months of his new plan, Stephen returned with a smile. He reported waking only once at night with bladder discomfort. Almost gone, even more encouraging. He found he could focus longer on his reading, and his memory had clearly improved. His lab results showed a drop in LDL cholesterol, while HDL, the good cholesterol, had risen. It feels like I've regained part of my younger self. He told me for dosage, I typically recommend about 30 grams of hazelnuts daily, or 20 to 25 nuts. They can be eaten on their own, mixed into yogurt, or oatmeal, or ground, and sprinkled over salads. As with other nuts, it's best to avoid salted, sweetened, or heavily roasted varieties, since additives can diminish their natural benefits. Hazelnuts also store well kept in a cool, dry place or sealed container. They stay fresh for weeks. Some of my patients once thought hazelnuts were just treats, but after experiencing their effects, they recognize their true value. For men over 60, hazelnuts don't just ease prostate discomfort, a stronger heart, and a fuller quality of life. Looking at Stephen's case, it's clear that sometimes small dietary changes bring the biggest results. Just a handful of hazelnuts a day was enough to improve his sleep, ease urinary symptoms, and sharpen his mind. More importantly, it restored his confidence that aging doesn't have to mean decline, that vitality can endure when cared for properly. Now let's move to the final nut in this series. Pine nuts, known for their rich nutrition. Pine nuts are a symbol of endurance, a quiet ally, helping men maintain strength and confidence well into their later years. In the world of nuts, pine nuts may look small and are often associated with elegant dishes like pesto or Mediterranean salads. But hidden inside these tiny kernels is a double punch for men's health. After 60, pine nuts don't just protect the prostate, they also restore vitality. Many men think is gone with age. I recall Stephen, a 6-year-old former pilot who had flown across dozens of countries, yet in retirement, found himself struggling within his own body. He said, half joking, half saddened. His symptoms pointed to prostate enlargement and hormone imbalance. When building his plan, I added pine nuts. Many are surprised. Why pine nuts? The answer lies in their rare combination of nutrients. First, pine nuts are among the richest natural sources of beta-testosterone. This phyto-all blocks the activity of DHT, dihydrotestosterone, the hormone most directly linked to prostate growth. With DHT under control, the prostate cools down, pelvic pressure decreases, and urine flow becomes stronger and more complete. For Stephen, this meant nights of deeper, uninterrupted sleep, but that's only half the story. Pine nuts also contain oleic acid, a rare omega-6 fatty acid found in few other foods. Phenolic acid has strong anti-inflammatory effects, helps manage body weight, and reduces abdominal fat, an extra burden that worsens prostate pressure and lowers testosterone. This is pine nuts. Second punch. On top of that, Pine nuts are rich in magnesium and zinc, two minerals absolutely vital for male health. Magnesium relaxes muscles, stabilizes sleep, and supports nerve function. Zinc is the key to hormone balance, particularly testosterone when zinc is lacking. The prostate enlarges and vitality fades when zinc is sufficient. The prostate remains stable and masculine energy is preserved. For Stephen, this combination filled in exactly what his body was missing. After about 3 weeks of incorporating pine nuts, Stephen returned with relief in his eyes. The pelvic heaviness was reduced. His urine flow was stronger and more complete, and he was waking only once per night, sometimes sleeping straight through until morning. What delighted him most was his revived sexual energy, restoring both his confidence and closeness with his wife. Who knew these tiny nuts could rescue both my sleep, my life? He laughed, though the joy in his expression was genuine. In practice, I usually recommend 20 to 30 grams of pine nuts daily, about 2 heaping tablespoons. They can be eaten raw, lightly toasted, or used as pine nut oil and salads. Some prefer to sprinkle them over oatmeal soups, or simply snack on them because of their high oil content. Pine nuts spoil quickly, so they should be stored in sealed containers in the refrigerator to preserve their flavor and quality. Yes, pine nuts can be more expensive than many other nuts, but the value they bring to men's health after 60 is not to be underestimated. They are like a small treasure wrapped in a tiny shell, yet delivering dual benefits, protecting the prostate and restoring masculine vitality. At this point, we have explored all 5 powerful nuts, and the most important takeaway is not to memorize every nutrient, but to understand how to turn them into daily actions. Looking back on this journey, it becomes clear that true strength doesn't come from complicated or costly methods, but from small, simple, and consistent actions with just 5 familiar nuts. Cashews, pistachios, macadamias, hazelnuts, and pine nuts. Men over 60 can fuel their bodies with natural vitality, protect the prostate, and keep circulation strong. Behind each nut lies a treasure of nutrients, healthy fats, antioxidants, hormone-balancing minerals, and bioactive compounds that reduce inflammation, prevent enlargement, and rekindle masculine energy that many thought had faded with time. The key to remember is that results don't come from eating them once in a while, but from making them a habit. A handful of nuts each day, sustained over weeks, is what unlocks real change. As the stories of my patients showed, within just 2 to 4 weeks, many experienced deeper sleep, easier urination, and even renewed confidence in their intimate lives. These aren't miracles, they are the rewards of patience and smart choices. For some, adjusting diet may seem minor compared to other challenges of aging, but it is precisely these small steps that create the biggest difference. A spoonful of hazelnuts in the morning, a few macadamias sprinkled on a salad, a handful of pine nuts before dinner. Each small action is part of a greater strategy, preserving health, protecting the prostate, sustaining vitality, and joy in life. And finally, the message I want to leave you with is this. Choose one place to start today. Don't wait for the perfect solution. Begin with the smallest habit that feels easiest. These 5 nuts have shown us that transformation doesn't need to be dramatic or complicated. It just needs to be steady and intentional. When you take that path, your health, vitality, and freedom within your own body will gradually return strong, natural, and truly yours.